So here she had written that our entries class is quaking in its boots. The reason, of course, is the forthcoming meeting in which the teachers decided who will move up to the next form and who will be kept back. Half the class is making bets. GN and I laugh ourselves silly at the two boys behind us, CN and Jacobs, who were staked their entire holiday saving on their bets. From morning to night, it's you are going to pass. I am not. No, I am not. Yes, you are. No, I am not. Even G's pleasing glance and my anger outburst can't calm them down. If you ask me, there are so many dummies that about quarters of the class should be kept back, but teachers are the most unpredictable creatures of on earth. I am not so worried about my girlfriend and myself. We will make it, and only subject I am not sure about is maths. Anyway, all we can do is wait. Until then, we keep telling each other not to the lose heart. So she had written about her school experiences. When she came from his grandma's house where she had just learned in the Montessori school, and I already told you that she loves to Mrs. Cupurus, to whom she loves very much, who's the headmistress of that school. When there was a farewell, she cried. So you can say that the Annie Frank is a very emotional girl, and if she likes something, she was touched with them. So here she, in her diary, she had mentioned about her school experience. The complete class was nervous about their going from the next. Some of the students had made bets and staked all their savings regarding her. They were declaring pass, but Annie was not sure of maths because something happened with her with the maths teacher and in between her. So now we will discuss about that. So that is why she was saying that all had been telling one another not to lose heart because maybe it will be positive for you. But she was sure that Mr. Casing who was taught the maths to them, he was not giving the good grades to her. I get along pretty. She has written now. I get along pretty well with all my teachers. There are 9 of them, 7 men and 2 women. Mr. Casing, the old foggy who teaches us maths, was annoyed with me for ages because I talked so much. So here she said about her school experience, and she said that two boys was sitting behind me. They was just betting on me that whether I will pass or not, and they just they just give their whole money that they saved in the holidays only for the bet. Now she is describing about her teachers, that there are 9 teachers, all of them. 7 the men teachers are there, and 2 women teachers are there. And she is talking about Mr. Casing, who was an old fellow, and he taught the maths to them. Actually, there is a fight between there is some conflicts between the Mr. Casing and between Annie Frank, because Annie Frank is a too much talkative, and when Mr. Casing was teaching in his class, she was talking with her friend, and then he gave some punishment to her. So what she had written here, after several warnings, she said, I am very much talkative. I talk so much. After several warnings, he assigned me extra homework. So when the students are not listening there, so what the teachers are doing, they will give extra homework to them as a punishment, you can say. So extra homework he had given to the Miss Annie Frank, an essay. So he had given an essay to her to write that a chatterbox means the person who was talking continuously without stopping and talking and talking. So a chatterbox, the subject is there, a chatterbox, and she had to written on that a essay. A chatterbox, what can you write about that? I had worried about that later. I decided. I jotted down the title on my notebook, tucked it in my bag, and tried to be keep quiet. That evening, after I had finished the rest of my homework, the note about the essay caught my eyes. I began thinking about the subject while chewing the tip of my fountain pen. Anyone could ramble on the on and leave big space between the words, but the trick was to come up with convincing arguments to prove the necessity of talking. I thought and thought, and suddenly I had an idea. I wrote the 3 pages Mr. Casing had assigned me and was satisfied. I argued that talking is a student's trait and that I would do my best to keep it under control. So, what she has done when Mr. Casing gave the homework to her, that she had to return the essay on the topic, that is chatterbox. So she had written the note in her copy that she would not forget. She would not forget at the time. So she put the notebook in her bag. In the evening, what happened when she had completed her other subjects or homework? So she just to think about that, I have to be write an essay. So fountain pen, some of the people have had has a habit that they have to tweak some things when they are writing something, thinking about something. So one side of the pen or the pencil, they are chewing continuously. So she said that I am at the tip of my fountain pen. I am chewing tip of my fountain pen, and I am just talk and write aimlessly about a big space of the world words between the trick that I have thought that what I have to be written. I will write very sometimes what happen you people are doing if you want to we said that complete your word limit, so what you are doing you will just put extra words in that that has no meaning and write the if we are saying that you have to cover in that 4 lines or 5 lines, so what you people are doing you are giving so much space in between them. So she is also doing the same thing, but then she think about I have to be right in that, and then she have written that the talking is the right of a child or right of a student, and she had written the essay that she had argued to Mr. Casey that I have to be right um, to talk in the class. So that on that topic she had written, and then next day what happened? But that I would never be able to cure myself of the habit since my mother talked as much as I did, if not more, and there not much you can do about the inherited trails. So what she is doing? She was just he remained annoyed between. So what extra work she has done after the homework? Annie started thinking of an essay, and the idea flashed in her mind that she had wrote talking is a student's trait and would also best to control it. Do my best to control it, but I won't able to cure this habit since my mother is also so much talkative. So moving from the inherited trait cannot be done. On reading her arguments, Mr. Casing had a good laugh. She think about it, and then he had laughed on that. Again, Mr. Casing had a good laugh at my argument, but when I proceed to talk my way through the next lesson, he assigned me school second essay. This time it was supposed to be on the incorrigible chatterbox. Incorrigible means something that cannot be corrected, usually bad quality chatterbox. I handed it in and Mr. Casing had nothing to complain about for two whole lessons. However, during the third lesson, he had finally had enough. Annie Frank, as punishment for talking in the class, write an essay entitled "Quack Quack Quack," said Mistress Chatterbox. So he had given second essay to her as a punishment incorrigible chatterbox, and after then she has not Annie Frank is not stopped to talk in the class. After the two lesson completed, he had given the time to her that she will stop talking in the class, but she had not changed her habit. Then he had give third essay to her that you have to write quack quack quack. What topic of the essay? This quack quack quack, said Mistress Chatterbox. The class roared. I had to laugh too, though I had nearly exhausted my ingenuity on the topic of the chatterboxes. It was time to come up with something else, something original. My friend Sunny, who is good at poetry, offered to help me write the essay from beginning to end in verse, and I jumped for joy. Mr. Casing was trying to play a joke on me with his ridiculous subject, but I had made sure the joke was on him. I finished my poem and it was beautiful. It was about the mother duck and the father swan, their three baby ducklings who were beaten to death by the father because they quacked too much. Luckily, Mr. Casing took the joke the right way. He read them. So what she had think about that again and again, Mr. Casing gave a homework to her. So Annie started thinking on the essay. An idea flashed in her mind that she had wrote talking about the student trails. And then what happened? Again, he had given next essay. Then she's not stopping. Again, he had given next topic. And what happened at this topic? The whole class wrote. Annie too laughed. Though Annie tried for his essay, but her friend Sane helped become ready to help her. In a way, the teacher was playing a joke on her, but on the other words, it was a joke on him. So Annie wrote his essay like a poem. Annie read the poem in the class and stated there was a mother duck and the father swan were the three ducklings. The ducklings were beaten to death by the father since they quacked too much. It was Annie's good luck that the teacher took it in the right way. He read the poem, gave his own comments, but that Annie was allowed to talk and no extra work was given. Since then, Mr. Casing too started making some jokes on her or for the class to be make poem to the class, adding his own comments and to several other classes as well. Since then, I have been allowed to talk and haven't been assigned any extra homework. On the contrary, Mr. Casing always making jokes these days. So what happened? Mr. Casing understand that she had a habit to talk in the class, and she's taking it like that she doesn't like that punishment that is given by Mr. Casing. So Mr. Casing stopped the giving to punishment her, and he was just giving just making a joke sometimes whatever she is talking she was just passing a comments or make a joke, and to stop her like that means you can say an another alternative method used by Mr. Casing to stop the Annie Frank by the talking, but she had not listened that thing. So many things she had written in her diaries, that is in this chapter it is a given a small part of her life, of her diary that she had written. So now it will be completed.